So what I want to do is I don't want to spend too much time in the exercises, especially doing each and every single one of them, probably a couple of from each. But some of the tadribat, some of the exercises will have some grammar related issues. This is why I might spend more time. Okay. Jayid, so we start with at-tadribul awwal, the first exercise. First one, it says, wajada sadiqahu yajlisu fil maktaba. Wajada sadiqahu yajlisu fil maktaba. He found, because, it's the same thing I'm keep reminding you. When you see a verb, the first thing you should be trying to look for is what? When you see verb, what is the first thing you look for? File is the door. Every verb must have a file. So if you don't find a dedicated explicit file, the door, then you have to assume the file what's within the verb itself. So I don't see any file. How do I know I don't see any file? How do I know that there's no door in this sentence, like explicit door? I don't see any dhamma. I don't see any nouns that has the nominative case, because this is a fatha, this is a verb. So there's no file here. So what do we assume? We assume the file is the pronoun. What is the pronoun? Is he. Simple stuffs. I'm just repeating myself. So he found, what did he find? He found sadiqahu. So this is now maf'ul bihi, which is the object. He found his friend yajlisu fil maktaba. We had a similar sentence in the text. So from what I see here is that they want you to get comfortable with this kind of sentence structure. And this is very, actually, this sentence structure has a name. I'll mention it. So he said he found his friend yajlisu fil maktaba, sitting in the library. So he found his friend sitting in the library. And if you look at the other one, it says wajada sadiqahu yaqra'u fil maktaba. Same structure, but now he's changing the verb. He found his friend reading in the library. Yata'allamu al-lughat al-arabiyya. He found his friend studying or learning Arabic language. Okay, and then here he's saying that he found reading Arabic language. Okay, reading yaqra fil mushafi al-sharif. He reading the novel mushaf, like Quran. He's reading Quran. And then wajada sadiqo yaktubu talaban. He found he's writing a request. Okay, and then was wajada dirasa tabda'u fil kharif. He found the semester begins in kharif. Who remembers what kharif is? It is fall, right? Kharif is fall. So as you can see, all of them has some similar pattern. So this exercise, it kind of like, I would assume, trying you guys to get used to this kind of sentence structure, and it's a little bit grammatical. Now, I don't think I should explain too much what's going on, but I'll just mention what's happening is that in Arabic, they will call this sentence that you have here. This is, look, you can independently see two different sentences. Wajada sadiqahu. He found his friend. And this is another whole complete sentence. Yajlisu fil maktabati. He is sitting in the library. So what is the relationship? Again, a little bit tricky stuff, especially for the, in the beginning stage. This would be actually, they call it hal. Hal is what they refer when you mention a verb, like what was the state when that verb happened? When you were doing this verb, what was the state? So this hal means state. So he found in the state. Now the hal can actually describe a little bit grammar. I don't want to go too much detail, just simple thing. If you understand, it's fine. If you don't, trust me, there is a dedicated chapter on hal in the grammar books, and it can get a little bit tricky. Okay, so hal can describe the subject, which would be he. Hal can also describe the object, which is, in this case, is his friend. And hal can also describe both. And how do you know which one is describing? That would be, honestly, mostly is going to come from the context. So if you say he found his friend sitting in the library, what is this state describing? The doer or the object, subject or the object? Think about this. he found his friend sitting in the library. So this sitting in the library is describing what? The state of who? Object, excellent. So here it is describing he found his friend in this state. His friend was in the state of sitting in the library. Usually the default of the hal would be a noun in the mansub state. This whole thing we can say it in different way. You can say jalisan. Then you can say rest fi fil maktaba. You can say wajada sadiqahu jalisan. Jalisan, right? This is the default. The default will be you will find hal in this kind of situation. Wajada sadiqahu jalisan fil maktab. But it can also be a sentence, which we have in this case. Honestly, in this stage, this is not your job to understand everything what I'm saying, but sometimes, as you know, I give you a little bit more information about the grammar. So, just prepares you, get comfortable with some of the ideas. But if you don't understand everything, that's fine. I think it's describing the state when the verb happened. Okay? When he found, what state did you find? Okay, you find jalisan, qa'iman, dahikan. You can say wajada sadiqahu dahikan. He found his friend laughing. Or you can also convert into verb. Wajada sadiqahu yadhaku. See, dahikan yadhaku. So it's a little bit tricky. If it's too much, that's fine. Now, so the next one is, please keep on making this mistake. Ataqaddamu bihadha talabi rajian qubuli. I think we had the similar structure as well. Okay, so I'm submitting with this talab, with this request, rajian, hoping, qubuli. Qubul is acceptance, qubuli is my acceptance. So again, they're giving a this is not a simple sentence structure. It's not the most complex, but it's a complex sentence because it has many different elements. I'm offering this request, hoping my acceptance. That would be like the translation. And as you can see, he has similar with all the other sentences. Aktub hadha al-kitaba, that's fine. Rajian qira'atahu. I'm writing this book, hoping it's reading. That means people will be reading this thing. So what is the sentence structure here? So all of them would be, similar. But what is the sentence structure? What's going on here? With this, you understand, أتقدم بهذا الطلب. Now we have a noun that is taking the mansub state, the fatha, right? Rajian, qubuli. This one in Arabic would be called, I think I mentioned to you in last time, it would be called, it's another maf'ul, because in Arabic we have many different cases when a noun becomes a mansub, meaning it takes fatha. And one of them we know is maf'ul bihi. Another one is maf'ul li ajlihi. It means, the translation is that the reason why that action is being done. So if you want to describe the reason why you are doing that action in one word, that word needs to be in mansub, in the fatha. You can explain the reason in another sentence. You can elaborate on this. I'm submitting this request because I like to blah, blah, blah. You can say it. But if you want to explain in one word, then that word needs to be in fatha state, the mansub state. So he is saying that I am submitting this request, rajian, hoping my acceptance. This hoping is the reason. Now, interestingly, remember what I said here. If you make this sentence with, instead of saying yajlisu, you can also say jalisan. Wajada sadiqahu jalisan fi maktabi. Same situation. You have a noun and you have a noun, both of them in this fatha state. One of the things in the beginning, you will be frustrated because you don't know which one is, because this one I'm saying hal and this one I'm saying li ajlihi. That's why this technical term for you guys is not super important. As long as you know what's happening and translation, I will be fine. But I'll just mention why they're different. Here, it's describing the state when the doer or the object was. when the action was happening. So when he found, they found in a state of sitting. And here he's talking about that when he submitted, what was the reason? His reason is that he's hoping that you'll be accepted. So as you can see, the difference is just by the meaning. For example, if you say أتقدم بهذا الطلب ضاحكا, like for some reason you're saying that I'm submitting this request smiling, laughing. Same thing. Instead of saying rajan, I can say ضاحكا. What happens? What is ضاحك now? ضاحكا. What does it mean? What do you think? This is a hal or this is mafuli ajlihi? Is this, if I say that I am submitting this request laughing, same structure. Only thing I've done, change the rajan into dhahikan. Yes, it become hal because now I'm describing the state where I was. And here I'm saying rajan. So as you say, it's very subtle. So only thing is that we understand what you mean by the meaning, right? So if the word means that the state of, then it would be hal. With this word, if you're explaining the reason, then it would be mafuli ajlihi. So that's why if you get into discussion with the grammar, then it gets a little bit longer conversation. I really, really don't want to do this kind of things, but I feel like I'm treating this book, I'm trying to accomplish a few more things with this book, making you learn the Arabic, getting used to the sentence structure, vocabs, and also giving you as much as grammar you guys need, maybe sometimes more. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time, read all of them, and you will see that they have the same pattern. Okay, for example, katabtu ilayhi shakiran amalah. So I wrote to him, ilayhi, I wrote to him shakiran, thanking. This shakiran, the thankfulness, is not describing the state when he was writing. It's not. It's describing that I wrote to him. Why did I write to him? Shakiran, thanking him, amalah, his work. وقف الطالب سائلا. Okay, from su'al, asking. Al-muallim is asking a muallim, the teacher. So let's go to the next tadrib, al-tadrib al-thani. This one we also skip all the time because it's very simple. It's about the pronunciation. You have khaba and ghaba, so you can practice your pronunciation. And basically, they're a little bit similar in sound, and you should, I think you know them. Then we have التدريب الثالث, which is the third exercise. It's أجيب عن الأسئلة الآتية. Answer the following questions. Looks like these questions are related to the passage, the text that we have read. It says أين تعلم عمر اللغة العربية? Where did Omar study the Arabic language? We kind of have to go back. I don't know if you guys remember. I'll just do one or two, just to do a few of them. So here Ahmed is asking, أتعرف اللغة العربية Omar? Do you know Arabic language? He said, نعم, I know. Then he asked the question, the same question, أين تعلمتها يا عمر? And he answered, تعلمتها في معهد اللغة العربية. So now here he answers the question by saying تعلمتها. I learned it in the Mahad al-Lughat al-Arabi, in the Arabic institution. So how would you translate this one into, or how would you, what would change you would make if you want to say he learned? Because here he's saying that I learned it, but we want to answer he learned it. So what do we do? I learned it is ta'allamtuha. So how do we say he learned it? It's just verb conjugation. I'm pretty sure we have done these things, right? How do you say in he? How do you say she? So he would be ta'allama, she would be ta'allamat. Okay, then I would be ta'allamtu, this one, then ta'allamta, ta'allamti. All of these conjugations, this you have to know. This one I cannot help. That no one can help you. You have to completely memorize all these things. I'm pretty sure this book has done some of these things, and you need a lot more practice. So what we do, we just say ta'allamaha. Okay, so he learned it. ta'allamaha في معهد اللغة العربية. Okay, so he learned it in Arabic Language Institute. These verb conjugations are very important, guys. ماذا قال عمر بعد أن أتم القراءة في المصحف? Okay, so you know all of these things. What did he say after أتم completing the reading of the Mus'haf. What did he say? Sadaqallahu al-Aliyul Azim, something like that. There's a difference opinion among the scholar whether this is sunnah to say or not. But, some people do, that's fine. So that's the answer, right? I'll just do one more. Aina wajada Ahmadu sadiqahu Omar. Quick question, you should know because I explained. What is the relationship between sadiqahu and Omar? Why Omar has a fatha and what's going on here? It is that concept that we talked about. Badal, yes. So the badal. So it's something that we can exchange. In Arabic, we call badal, meaning there can be exchange. You can even bring Omar first and then say sadiqahu. It's the same people, it's the same person. Okay. Now, I think inshallah you will be able to find all of them. So he's asking كيف يلتحق الطالب بمعهد اللغة العربية. How التحق, this is an important word. التحق and always connects with the be. When you say join, التحق يلتحق, it means to join. You are joining to something, right? When you mention the to, you say be. Okay, I think it's somewhere in the book. You can find the answer. So we'll move to the next one. Then we have التدريب الرابع, the fourth exercise. رتب وكون جملا. Arrange and make a sentence. We've also done a lot of this kind of exercise, and I've mentioned that the best way to start is see if you can find a verb. If you find a verb, that's easy. That's good news because then you start with the verb. Do we have a verb? Yes, we have a verb. It's tabda'u. And once you find the verb, what do? You look for the door. Is there any door? Yes, there's a door. Ad-dirasa, because it has a dhamma. So now it's saying tabda'u dirasatu. So the studies begin. Tabda'u dirasatu bil mahadi, in the institute. Then you can say fi fasli al-kharif. Okay, so the study begins in the institution in the fall season. Makes sense? I'll just do one more. So we have Amid Ahmadu Talaban ila Arsala. So we have our verb. So we start with the verb Arsala. So where is the door? Would be Ahmad Dhamma, right? So we'll consider this one as a door. So Arsala Ahmadu, Ahmad sent. So now we're looking for the object, maful bihi. So we have an object, Talaban. Okay, this is a fatha. We can say that the Talaban is the object. So Ahmad sent a request to ila Amid, the dean of Mahad. Okay, simple stuff. Let me just quickly just pick, see if there's any words. There are any words that you don't know. Inshallah, everything you know. So just don't be confused here. Again, I'm mentioning you have the Makkah ta. So because the Makkah has a fatha, don't be confused that thinking that this needs to be an object or it needs to be in this kind of fatha state. Because we talked about the Makkah, this is one of the word mamnu min as-sarf that cannot take kasra. So instead of kasra, they take a fatha. So this word, the way it is actually, this is a very tricky one because the way it is, it can be object or it can be in the state of kasra. So we don't know which one. So you have to figure this one out. Okay, so this is a big, huge word phrases, just a name. So the way you start, okay, let me ask you a quick question. Look at this one. What do you think you're going to start with? Which number are you going to start with? I'll just number them here. 1, 2. Which number are you going to be starting with? There's no verb. This is just a phrase. It's not even a sentence. Okay, I have one answer fee. Anybody else? 5. Who said 5? Yes. Because if you start with fee, you're going to get into trouble dealing with this one. Because after fee, yes, good. Excellent. Because after fee, everything has to be, in the majority, the genitive case, right? So what are you going to do with this? This one is the nominative case. So the best is if you find anything nominative, because remember, this Dhamma is always the default. The default is, it always should be Dhamma. Only time it changes to something else, there has to be reason. So if there's no reason, so you start with this one. Yes, good. So you start Jamiatu, then you say Al Qura, then Fi Madinatil Manawara, okay, let me just do it for you. This one is first, this one would be second, Jami'atu Umm Al Qura. This would be third. Then you can say fi Makkah. See, right now, here the confusion comes. I explained to you this word is mamnu min as-sarf. It will never take a kasra, so it will take a fatha instead. Good. So see, don't underestimate this exercise. There are, like I told you, 6 PhD professors spend time writing this series. So they know what to put. So they're all, carefully selected exercises. So please do them. Then we have التدريب الخامس. هذه 3 كلمات تبدأ بها. Okay, mm, so they want you to, this is going to be a tough one. They want you to come up with 3 words that begins with fatha, another one begins with kasra, and another one begins with dhamma. They gave you an example, like for the hamza, you say a, adhan, then ifrat is being excessive, and is mother. So you have a fatha, kasra, and dhamma. Honestly, that's a very hard exercise for the ba, right? So you start with bab, and for dhamma, I don't know, boom, you can say boom, which is owl. I cannot even think of a word that starts with kasra with ba. I'm pretty sure we know it, but it's very difficult to come up. So what you should do, at least for each one of them, at least write one word, whichever comes in your mind, and then spend time, see if you can come up with another one and another one. This one exercise would take a long time, for sure. Okay, but very interesting exercise. You got it? Now, then we have التدريب السادس, the 6th exercise. كون جملا من العمودين. عمود is column. Okay, so make from 2 columns. So we have 2 columns, and then they want you to make a sentence by connecting. So again, this one should be very simple. So I'll just probably do 1 or 2. He says دخل أحمد وقال لي عمر. Remember, when you say قال always take the حرف الجر li. In English, we say he said to. So you might be thinking to means something else. To means ila, قال ila. No, when you use the verb قال, it's always li. So you don't translate he said for Omar. Don't translate li as a for. And that's why when you study Arabic grammar, in the beginning, when they define the isim and the fa'il and the harf, they say that it does not mean anything by itself. In isim, they will say it means by itself, but it doesn't have any zaman, like any time connected to it. That is isim. Doesn't matter, it's adjective or doesn't matter. Any meaning, any word that has a meaning doesn't have any time connected to it, that is ism. And any word that has a meaning, but it has a time connected to it, that is a fi'l, that is a verb. But how do they define the other one, the particle? They say it doesn't mean anything by itself. It needs something else. It needs a noun or the verb to clarify what this means. And as you can see, it's true in here because li, we don't know what it means. This qala is telling us what the li means here. Now, so what did he say? He probably have said assalamu alaikum. Okay, probably that's what he says. Then second was akala al walidu at-ta'ama. The boy ate the food. Waqala alhamdulillah. Okay, so you can say waqala and then he said alhamdulillah. So it's a very simple exercise and fun one. You should be able to do it. Okay. Then we have التدريب السابع, the 7th exercise. رتب هذه الجمل. Now, they want you to organize these, put them in order, basically, these sentences. So it says يقرأ مجموعة من القصص. He read a group of stories, then يجلس في القرآن. If I'm just dealing with this one, you guys can do. If I'm just dealing with what we have here, we can start with very simple. We can say وجد أحمد صديقه عمر يقرأ مجموعة من القصص. Okay, so this would be the second. Yeah, I think I think we can also add this one as well. So we can say we can make this one second or this one third, because he's saying وجد أحمد صديقه يجلس في هجرة القراءة يقرأ مجموعة من القصص. All of this is describing the state where he found it. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about the grammatical. You should just think about the meaning right now. The meaning makes sense. He found Ahmed found his friend sitting in the reading room, reading stories. Then he's saying, قال أحمد لعمر. He said to Umar, Assalamu alaikum. Then we can say, Ajaba Umaru Ahmada. So he answered, Ahmed wa alaikum assalam. But this one, if I start doing it, it's might gonna take a long time. I'll just translate them for you guys. Sa'ala Ahmadu Umara. So Umar asked. So Ahmed asked Umar. So who asked who? You know it by what? By the case. Here's the interesting thing. You can rearrange the whole thing. You can say Sa'ala Umara Ahmadu. It still means the same thing. You can rearrange as long as your Dhamma and the Fatha is in the right state. People will know. You might be like, why are you writing it like that? There might be reason. If you're emphasizing something, it might be reason that you're bringing the object before the subject. It's very important that you practice this technique. Looking for the doer, looking for the object, then it will be very easy. Okay. So قال عمر أقرأ قصة قصيرة. What is قصيرة? You should know it. Short. Yes, I'm reading a short story. So what is the haraka we put in the ta marbuta here? Tanwin of Fatha. Why it gets Tanwin of Fatha? Sifa, excellent. So this is describing the noun qissa. So it's saying short story. Remember, the sifa has to match all the four things, everything. The gender has to match, the case ending has to match. So here's the case ending has to match. And the number, all of these things we've talked about it, right? So this is a sifa. Mada taqra ya Umar. So all of these things. I'm just trying to find if there's any sentence that requires a little bit of attention. Okay, so here it says, قال عمر قدم طلبا إلى عميد المعهد. Here's a verb. A few questions about this verb. Is it a present tense, past tense, or command verb? Okay, command verb. Excellent. So can this word be past tense? No. Why not? Exactly. Because we have a kasra here. The past tense will not have a kasra. Taqaddama is the past tense. The past tense, it will be fatha. Taqaddama yataqaddimu. That is the verb. So we cannot say this can be a past tense, okay? It must be a command verb, because we make command verb from where? From the past tense or the present tense? How do we make command verb? Remember, we've done this thing. We convert into present tense first. And the present, yes, mudari, the present tense has the kasra. Taqaddama yataqaddimu. And then we make all this transformation, which we've talked about before. So now if it's a command verb, so what is the meme has? Huh? What does the meme? Sukun, yes. تقدم طلبا إلى عميد المعهد. Excellent. Arju means I hope. Okay, that an. What is the verb? Is تساعد. Why do we have fatha here? An. Excellent. So this is the an. This an. These are very important grammar topic. Okay, there are four main words that make a present tense verb into mansub in the fatha. I think we have found few of them. One of them, the main one is the an. Yes, the main one is an. You have an, lan, kai, idan. These are the four main particles that make a present tense verb into a fatha state, the mansub state. Anyway, so I hope that you help me تساعدني في كتابة الطلب. I hope that you help me in writing the request. Which word do you want me to write? You mean the particles? Okay, yes. So we have an is one of them. Lan is when you negate something in the future. Lan adhaba, I will not go. Adhabu means I go. Lan adhaba, I will not go. Kai, then you have idan. Okay, this is the four main. But then there are other particles that makes it. But for those I have to explain. For example, sometimes the harful jar li can also come in the verb. You can say li adhaba. So it's gonna be difficult. I don't want to get into too much in details, but I think we've seen Idan. I think we've seen Kai as well. An and Kai. Now, is there anything else? Says Ahmed, وَمَاذَا أُحْضِرُ الْآن? So what is أحضر أحضر means? This word is a little bit tricky because there's another word, حضر يحضر. Yeah, I think I mentioned this one many times. حضر يحضر, and then you have أحضر يحضر. So حضر يحضر means to be present. Okay? حضر يحضر is to be present. أحضر يحضر, which is the verb that we have here, it means to bring. So أحضر means I bring. حضر يحضر يحضر. So يحضر. So this one is the 3-letter verb. The shorter version is to be present, and the longer version, one with the hamza, it means to bring something. Okay. Look, the present tense verb would look the same thing with the haraka. If you don't put haraka, both of them look the same thing. But this is uhdiru. You see? Now, so he's asking, وَمَاذَا أُحْضِرُ الْآنِ? And what should I bring now? Or what do I bring now? Okay, makes sense? No. And I think everything else you know. So any question from here? I haven't done the exercise. What I've done is just given you the translation. So you kind of have to go sit and see which one goes first, which one goes second. And that should be a lot of fun. التدريب الثامن, the 8th exercise, اختر لكل كلمة من العمود ما يناسبها من العمود الثاني كما في المثال. So اختار, it means to select, to choose. For every word from the amud, we just mentioned amud is the column, first column. Ma yunasibu, this is a very good word, is to be appropriate. Yunasibu is to be appropriate. Appropriate. Nasaba yunasibu, it means to be appropriate. So what is appropriate? Minal amudi thani. So what is appropriate from the column? So basically you match them so it makes sense. It's probably going to be a phrase. So he gave an example. He said, Hayya naktub. Let's go write. So it's kind of go together. And second one, we have a thaqafa. Thaqafa is culture. And what do you think it goes from here? It would be al-Islamiyya, right? Islamic culture. Now, can you say al-thaqafa al-Islami? No, why not? Because they are not matching the gender. It's coming as an adjective. What does mu'ahil goes with? What does it mean? It means qualification. Remember we did academic qualification. So we'll say ad-dirasi. Al-Quran, we always say al-Kareem. Okay, so at-tabaq, which is the floor. So at-tabaq al-awwal. Very simple and easy. Inshallah, you will be able to do that. And all of these phrases, I'm pretty sure we've found them in the text. This next tadrib is very easy. The 9th exercise, hati mufrad. Mufrad is singular. Jam is plural. Mufrad is singular. Its opposite is jam'un. So they have given you the plural and you're just supposed to give mufrad. All of them, when you look at all of these words, how do you make all of this plural into singular? What do? You just remove the alif and ta, last alif and ta, and just add the ta marbuta. So you say adira sa. Okay, for all of them, you have to remove the alif and ta, and then you add. So very simple exercise here. The next one, the 10th exercise is saying istabdil, change muannathan bil mudhakkari kama fil mithal. So this also should be very simple. It says ta'allama al-lughat al-arabiyyata. So this verb, actually the present tense also has the fatha here. Ta'allama yata'allamu. So you have ta'allama. What is the present tense? Yata. Because in order to make command verb, you have to know the present tense. Yata'allamu. So yata'allamu. What happens? You see, this one has a fatha. How do we make a command verb? Very simple. Remove the ya and then just put a sukun. Extremely simple. So ta'allam. So, but when you pronounce here, because we have alif lam, you cannot say ta'allam you cannot combine. So what do you do? Who remembers? We've talked about this. What do we do in this situation for pronunciation purpose only? Kasra, yes. So you put a kasra here. Ta'allamil lughat al-arabiyya. just so that you can pronounce. But doesn't mean that the verb in Arabic, the verb never gets a kasra. It's only for the pronunciation. So here we have a sukun. So, but this when you say ta'allam, you're addressing who? You're addressing a masculine person. So everything else is same. The only thing your focus is to convert your command verb into a feminine command verb. So what do you do? It's very simple. You add ya, ta'allami. We've talked about this many times in the past. We had the whole section, just doing just that, making it a command verb from the masculine into feminine. All we do is adding ya. Taqaddam, taqaddami. So you will just add a ya and it will be feminine. Or iltahiq, iltahiqi. Okay, iqra, iqra'i. Udkhul, udkhuli. Ikhtasir, ikhtasir. Who remembers what this ikhtasara means? Huh? We heard this word. This is a very good word, actually. It means to shorten, shorten, to make it concise. Okay, that's why you'll find a lot of fiqh book or any Islamic book is a mukhtasar. It's a mukhtasar. That means something that has been concised. So you have a bigger version of fiqh book, and then you have mukhtasar, something that is shorter. It's coming from the same verb. Okay, now jahiz. Jahiz means what? We also had this one. Prepare, yes. And there's another word for prepare. Who remembers that? Haddara, yuhaddiru. Yes, yes, good. Both of them has the same meaning. So you can also say haddir ta'ama ya bakr. Prepare your food. Or jahiz. Okay, but if you combine both of them will have same situation, you would have to put kasra. This kasra is only coming because of the pronunciation. But actual, the word by itself is with the sukoon. Make sense? And the khud, who can tell me the past tense of this verb? I want the past tense. Akhada, excellent. So the past tense is akhada. And because of it goes to some, transformation, then the hamza is dropped. Khud, take, khud means to take. Al kitab. Is it clear? Just add ya and you'll be fine. There's a lot of explanation where this ya is coming from. I've done one, but I think it's not suitable for this class anyway. In the grammar class, you will understand a lot more about the command verbs. التدريب الحادي عشر, the 11th exercise. غير الفعل مع الضمير. Change the verb with the pronouns. So مثال is أنا أكتب الطلب باللغة العربية. I'm writing the request in Arabic language. Excellent. This is the one that you guys have to practice, and practice. Okay, so how do you conjugate a verb into all the pronouns? So here he give you aktub, that means I write. How do you say we write? Who can tell me? Naktub, excellent. So he said naktub, naktub. Okay, so how do you say anta, you write, for masculine? Taktub, yes. So taktub, taktub. Now, how do you say anti? Taktubin. Yes, taktubina. Yes, good. Not taktubi. Taktubi, you're thinking the command verb here. And you'll see, since you brought this up, I will just explain something. You said taktubina. You said taktubina. So here's the ya, right? And now the question initially what we had, why are we adding ya? Honestly, when the easy way we say that just add ya, right? To make it into feminine command verb. But actually, in reality, we're not adding ya. We're doing what? Who can say? Just by looking at this, taktubina. Are we adding ya, or are we doing something else to make it into command verb? Dropping the noon. Yes, we're not adding ya. We're actually, what we're doing is we're dropping the noon. And then if we drop the noon, the ya stays here. This is because remember the command verb comes from where? The present tense. The present tense is stuck to be now. I think I've explained a few things, but it's very difficult to explain in full details in this kind of course, like in this level. But actually, in reality, what we're doing is that we're dropping the noon. This is one of the way you make it into majizum state, which we haven't studied in this book yet. Because majizum means to put a sukun. So taktubina, this whole form taktubina is in the what form? Dhamma state, meaning marfu state. But how do you make it into sukun state? Because command verb needs to be in the sukun state. You remove the noon. So we'll study all of these things. So it's a little bit crazy if you think about it like that. I don't want you to confuse you guys. So the best way for this exercise in this level, honestly, even for me, I just think about just add yeah, makes my life easy. Okay, so I have a verb. I want to address to female. I just add yeah. Okay, so what do you say? Huwa yaktubu. Yes, and the here yaktubu. Taktubu. Yes. Whoops. What do you mean taktubu? We have a taktubu already. We have taktubu right here. Yes, we already know they have exact same spelling, same pronunciation, everything, and we know them by the context. Makes sense? So as a homework, what you should do is actually, I don't have so much time. You do all of these one, two, three, four, five, six, all of these six. You should do all of them. If we have the present tense, you should be able to do in the past tense, and also in some of them you should be able to do in command verb. But at least do the past tense. So just one of them. How do you say aktubu in past tense? Katabtu. Yes. When you say kataba, that is the he wrote. Yes, he's katabtu. Excellent. So this would be katabtu. Katabtu for this one. And then inshallah, you will be able to do rest.